Hey, everybody. I'm going to spend a couple of minutes talking about a beautiful intro figure from Elevation Worship's recording of their song, It Is So. The intro goes like this. It's played by a keyboard and it's doubled by electric guitar on that intro. Now, let's say I was going to, before the song is sung, or perhaps after the song is sung, let's say your pastor's going to pray for a minute, or you're going to have a communion time, and you just want to provide some instrumental music that perhaps could relate to the song that you've just heard or are about to sing, and you want to create some activity without the band being involved. We keyboard players are often called on to sort of provide some sort of mood music or background music for those moments. So, in the intro on the recording, all you hear is the melody from the keyboard. You don't hear a big left hand thing going on there. But if I was playing by myself, I might want to fill out the harmony a little bit on my instrument. So the first chord, which you can see labeled there, is F. The F2 below it is something different for another lesson. But for now, the F chord is spelled F-A-C. That grouping of the notes I would call a block voicing. They're just neighboring chord tones stacked right above each other with no gaps between them. Now, if I wanted to open that voicing, I would play the root of the chord, skip the third, play the fifth, and then throw that A up an octave. Very different sound from this. And that tip alone right there is something that can cause your keyboard parts to sound more like what you might hear on modern worship recordings, because there's a lot of this open voicing, a lot of separating those chord tones instead of putting them together like that. So the result could be, that's the first two bars of the intro figure. Very different effect from, yeah. Now, when I get to the C chord, that block voicing could be described as C, E, G, root, third, fifth. Again, I'm going to leave that. I play the root, leave out the third, play the fifth. I end up with that wide gap right there, okay? And then the melody, as you can see in bar 3 above. Now listen to what happens if I play the full C triad below that. First of all, it pretty much sounds like a mistake because there's a kind of a C sus implied up top. Whoops, too technical. So for now, the point is, I want to play open voicings for my left hand, so I'm going to play the F and the C for the F chord, a C and a G for the C chord. And here's the whole figure. So, as you look at your keyboard, look at your hands on your keyboard, a takeaway for you might be to look at that left hand of yours and see if you're playing thick voicing. See if you've got root, third, and fifth all closely together. And if you do, find a way to leave out, make some more gaps in the notes of your left hand. So just play the root, play the fifth, play the root, play the fifth. If you're playing the fifth, skip the root, play the third, and so forth. So with time, your brain will just get used to it, and you'll discover that your keyboard parts are beginning to sound more like what you're hoping to imitate for modern recordings.